Greetings, comrades. It's a Friday. Um, we are having a general discussion on documentation and politics. It's Friday, the 23rd of February, 2024. If you have a question, please write in the comment section. We are here to respond to some of the questions that you have posted in our various social media platforms. We did post a video on the evictions, farm evictions in Zimbabwe. We condemn that. As the Zimbabwe Communist Party, we are calling for a land conference to discuss the question of land because we hold a view which says the 2000 land reform, while land reform was necessary and is still necessary today, it was chaotic. It did not address the land imbalances in Zimbabwe. People that have moved on land are losing their homes, and some, while in the diaspora, who are preparing to retire to Zimbabwe, suddenly their homes are being destroyed. And those that took early retirement to focus on farming, drilling boreholes, their homes have been destroyed. So we condemn that. So this is why the Zimbabwe Communist Party calls on a land conference to discuss in detail what needs to be done to resolve the land question in Zimbabwe. Yes, Comrade Rudin. Yes, you can post your question on visa appeals. If we have the answers, we will try to answer. We also posted a video where we spoke about the appeal by the Minister of Home Affairs, that is the Zimbabwe Exemption Permits appeal in Bloemfontein, which the Department of Home Affairs lost. Some comrades are writing in our various media platforms to say, Comrade Mabena, but we're opposed to the court case. Are you now hijacking it? Has your position changed? No, our position has not changed. We said we'll not go to court, and that has not changed. So communicating to you the outcome of a court process does not necessarily mean that we are part of the court case. No, we are not, and we have never been. And we did communicate that we will not claim credit for what we are not part of. So we are not going to claim that we took government of South Africa to court and celebrate if the minister is losing and turn that into our victory. That's not who we are. So we never went to court. Our position has been clear that we prefer to negotiate. So we will not even take credit for those that have won against the Department of Home Affairs. So ours is simple to communicate to you. This is why, if you listen carefully to that video, we even said that holders of Zimbabwe exemption permits need to follow the guidelines provided by the Department of Home Affairs, the guidelines to apply for various visas, because the High Court in Pretoria did not say government does not have a right to discontinue with the Zimbabwe exemption permits. What the High Court said was that there was no proper consultation with the holders of Zimbabwe exemption permits. I've seen in some other news sites or social media platforms questions being asked on how was the minister expected to consult each and every holder of the Zimbabwe exemption permits. So we stand by the position that we took, that will not go to court, and that if you're a holder of ZEP, do apply for a waiver to move to another visa. If you have decided not to apply for a waiver, apply for an exemption which will expire in November 2025. And of course, there are many who are still waiting for the outcome of their waivers. Don't panic, because if you have a receipt, a proof that you have applied, it means that you are here up to 2025, November 2025. So do not panic. We're still engaging the department on the delays, and hopefully your outcome will be out soon, so that you then apply to move to other mainstream visas. Comrade Obed Musingarimi says, what should I do? I got my waiver outcome on my first company. Now I resigned to another company, but my waiver came with the first company. What should I do to apply for a general working visa? You need Comrade Obed to go back to VFS, ask them to change the name of the company, because we are not sure when the general working visa comes out. When you then apply for a general working visa, in your application, you have to provide proof that you work for your company, and your waiver and the company name, or your waiver bears your former employer, not your current employer. That might actually present problems for you. So it's best that you go back to VFS and ask them to correct that. Comrade Aum Routine says, is there a possibility that a second appeal address to minister likely to come out? I'm not sure what you are talking about, but if you applied for a visa, it was rejected, you are given a provision to appeal. So I am not very clear on what you are talking about. We also posted in a video where we spoke about the economic situation in Zimbabwe, that we are in a crisis in Zimbabwe, because ordinarily the majority of us, I'm sure this will please put South Africa first and others. Ordinarily, the majority of us should be in Zimbabwe. We are out of Zimbabwe because of the economic situation in Zimbabwe. When we have always constantly said that we cannot outsource the task of building the Zimbabwe economy to any other person other than ourselves. We have the responsibility to build the Zimbabwe economy. This is why we are calling for the National Economic Dialogue to begin the process of building a national democratic economy based on national planning linked to devolution of power to the people. Because we can't continue, we can't really continue to watch when our economy is collapsing on daily basis, and young people leaving Zimbabwe. And experience tells us that when people leave their country of origin, arrive in the country where they are going to, there are then violence that occurs, because people tend to compete for little resources that are there. So that's the challenge. So we have a task as Zimbabweans to rebuild our economy. Like Comrade Mabato says on TikTok, writes, says, but Zimbabwe is burning. Those who are left behind are losing their land. What is it that you are doing? You are calling for a land conference to address the question of land, because we need to resolve land imbalances. We went to war to fight for our land. Government of Zimbabwe, is led by ZANU-PF, has never been genuine in the land reform program. This is why you're seeing people have been evicted from their land. Comrade Mankonje Mafu says, hello everyone, sorry to ask this. What about me who didn't apply that ZEP, but now I want to apply? Which visa must I go for? The first thing that you do, Mankonjen, is that you check the requirements. Firstly, it's about your qualifications. I always answer people. Someone will ask me, Comrade Mabena, I want to apply. Then the first question would be, what are your qualifications? Because if you check the website of Home Affairs or of a VFS in terms of the visas, the requirements, you will realize that they need people with critical skills. So if your qualifications are not under critical skills, you will not be able to apply. Unless, of course, if your partner or wife, husband is. South African or is on permit, then you can apply under them. But outside that, your chances are very slim. That's the issue, Mankonjeni. Um, and then there was also a video that we circulated, I'm sure, where we were again explaining about the waivers, that waivers are coming out. The minister said he is signing waivers and there will not the delays. And then the second issue is that there are those that are trying to renew their disc licenses, their driver's licenses. We are having challenges with the Department of Transport in South Africa because they want a visa, not the declaration or the directive 4 of 2023. And then there is also the issue of those that were given days at the port of entry. I was at the border the other day. I don't know or why people are given days because those that I was with who are holders of ZEP were telling them to simply tell the person there, the official, that you are on ZEP and that you are under a directive 4 of 2023. Once you tell them that you are guided or are under Directive 4 of 2023, they will simply stamp your passport without putting days. So if you're a holder of ZEP, you should not be having problems. But of course, if you're now on a new passport and the permit is on another, that might present some challenges. Comrade, sure, Comrade Mankonjani Mafu, you understand, that's okay. Great African one. You are saying Baba Utini ngendaba ye minister ye Concord. I've not seen the statement. I haven't checked the statement where the minister announced that he is going to go to the Constitutional Court. What we simply communicated was that he lost the appeal in Bloemfontein. According to the statement that we saw, is that the reason for the loss is that the court does not think that there is any prospect of success. So that's the issue. Then there's a comrade. When we recorded a video about ZEP and the man, titled ZEP and the man, where we talk about people that have approached us, that they have lost their monies to Comrade Luke Zwiti, who have been investing money. Some people lost about 80,000, 50,000, and so forth. Then one comrade on YouTube writes, Mapena, you are a snake. I don't know how I'm a snake, but yesterday we have been talking to the treasurer of the Zimbabwe Immigration Federation. So he's dealing, after our discussion, he did say that he will talk to his colleagues. So once we have concluded our discussion, then we will respond to that, because from the discussion that we had, there are issues that need clarity. We'll certainly record another video to communicate what we discussed with them. They raised certain issues around the video that we did, and we have been asking them to clarify certain things. So we will certainly do so. Once they've also, once their treasurer has consulted, he says the board of directors of Zimbabwe Immigration Federation, once that is done, then we'll certainly communicate. So expect another video next week to clarify certain issues. Comrade Nelson Shakala says, hello, is there a way to track the waiver, or we just wait for the outcome? We are assisting in tracking waivers. On Monday, we'll be discussing with the Department of Home Affairs. We've been sending them messages on why there's this delay. We hope that they will clarify on Monday on what these delays are, because we feel it is not proper really to have to have people that have applied 2 years ago who are still waiting for their outcome. We think it is not proper. Comrade start with Master says kungcono bathi uyindlovu why snake. Well, people are entitled um, to their opinions. People are entitled to their opinions. So that's how someone has come, someone views it. There's Zwakele Dlamini. I think it represents the views of some South Africans, I might say. It says when it says it seems like the honeymoon is coming to an end for the Zimbabweans, though he uses the word is eyes. Look, um, we do not think Zwakele Dlamini that we should be attacking one another. I was in a shop steward workshop, which was dominated by shop stewards from mining companies, and the one thing that I learned in that workshop in Johannesburg is that trade unions truly understand that workers have no country. They are concerned about the plight of migrants in South Africa, particularly those that work in the mines. So there was a question that was posed to us on how we assist those workers who, through incapacity, cannot continue working, because we know that the policy was that a family member should replace them. But because these are migrants and their family members do not have legal documents to be in South Africa, so the question was, how do we assist that? Yeah, so you can see that there are workers in South Africa that understand that workers should not be fighting against each other, but workers should confront the capitalist system, which is exploitative. Comrade Obed Musangarimi says, I went to VFS to change on my WEF, but they said you have to apply for a new exemption, and what documents needed when you apply on waiver with first company. Now want to apply on a different company. I'm not very sure, but Comrade Obed, you have my WhatsApp number, which is 0833401000. We can discuss this on Monday and try to assist you. Comrade Maxwell Tibari Ingere, I'm sorry if I mispronounced or pronounced your surname wrong. You are saying we are facing challenges at traffic departments when we book for learners licenses, particularly Marlborough Traffic Department. I've already said, Comrade Maxwell, that the Department of Transport says they need permits. So that's the challenge that we are having. So we haven't made any breakthrough in that area, and we know that many workers that work as drivers who are holders of ZEP have been affected by either failure to renew their disc or to renew their driver's licenses. So we're seriously looking into this issue so that people do not lose their jobs. Comrades, in the absence of any other questions, for instance, there are many questions that are posted in our social media platforms. We cannot answer all the questions, but we note this question, and we really appreciate. So we will once again try to come here and respond. Thanks, Comrade Maxwell, you understood. Comrade James Dube says, Bauma Pena, how are you, say? You said you will revert back to us after consulting with Home Affairs authorities whether you can apply for study permits for children who were born in SA under ZEP parent. There's a video, Comrade James Dube, where we said that if you're a holder of a ZEP, your kids are born in South Africa, apply for their study permits at the VFS. And that we have addressed. Even if they are not born in South Africa, but they are your dependents, apply for their study permits. We resolved this with the Department of Home Affairs. Comrade Pilani Ngenkosi Ndlovu says, Mr. Mabena, how are you? I'm on ZEP, applied for waiver. Then however, a child is at school. I would like to know if I may apply his study payment. I've just answered Comrade James toward the same question that apply for the study permits of your kids. There is actually a video that we recorded on this. So you don't have to wait for your outcome. You don't have to worry much. Just apply for the study permit so that kids are able to go to school. The last question, Great African One says, Comrade, please educate people on what is called forum shopping, the art of having multiple visa and the waiver applications in the system. It is possible to do it, but frowned upon. No, thanks. We will dedicate a video to that so that Comrade can have understanding on what is happening. And Songolo Consult says, with the judgment of yesterday against the Home Affairs Minister, is there any changes to the ZEP conditions currently? There are no changes. Like we have said that the judgment at the Pretoria High Court or North Gauteng High Court was that the minister did not consult, not that it does not have powers to end ZEP, but they said the process was unfair. The minister subsequently has extended the ZEP. He says he's signing waivers. He has also introduced an exemption which expires in November 2025. This is why we have been dedicating our videos encouraging holders of ZEP to apply or to follow those guidelines so that by November 2024, you will have either applied for the exemption or waiver, or you have moved to another visa. Because if by November 2024 you have no proof to have applied for anything, it means you will be in this country to borrow from my comrades, put South Africa, the word that they always use, illegal immigrant, and you know what that will mean. Busani Mkwananzi says, hi, Mr. Mabena, uyaphila Nguni Lakithi. Visit us in Cape Town. Great work. No, thanks. If you invite me, Kakisa, I will come. I will come. Cape Town is far. We are brokers and organization. In 2010, we went to Western Cape to educate people about the DZP at the time. We went to Stellenbosch, the farming communities. We used the bus. It took us over 18 hours on the road. And so if you buy us a bus ticket, we don't mind. We can climb on the bus, spend 18 hours on the road if there is need for us to be in Cape Town. Comrade Allen Ndere says, if I apply for any other visa or waiver, then after December 25 expire, what is next step? If you do not apply for a waiver, right? You apply only for an exemption. November 2025, you will go back home. That's what it means. But if yes, you will go back home. So if you have applied for a waiver, you have proof that you have applied for a waiver, there is no need for you to apply for an exemption. You only apply for an exemption if your waiver application or your visa application has been rejected. So the exemption will allow you to remain in South Africa up to November 2025. I hope you answered Comrade Allen Ndere. Thank you, comrades. Enjoy your weekend. We are soccer lovers, some of us. We are Liverpool. We hope Liverpool is going to beat Chelsea. If you are a Chelsea supporter, hard luck. You'll be crying on Sunday. Otherwise, comrades, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye. See you again next week. Thanks.